Welcome back to round 3 of the UK regionals. This round we've got Aaron back again on Imperial. He enjoyed it so much on stream last round, he's come back to showcase it again. Against William playing Yellow Hybrid, although it's a bit different from usual. It's not a Rapid Mon list, it's more of a security control focused one. So we're playing the purple package, we've got Karis, and then we have Flame Hellscythe, we've got Schwartz, and we've got Magna Engine 1 from BT1 for some recovery. We also got a couple of Chaos degrades for X-Antibody matchups, I'd imagine. So more of a security focused one compared to the usual Rapid that you're used to seeing. So we'll see. Should be interesting. Maybe Schwartz will win him these games potentially. So we'll see how it goes. I'm seeing, is that, so we've got 4 Tamers in hand and a Magna Engine 1. It looks like see who's going first here. Versus, we see the Stingmon, we see the XV. Gonna go Vmon and Raisin. Not the best Vmon, but we'll take it at this point. Might just go XV and Raisin here. We do. So. It's possible to see a TK to respond. Yeah, puts him to 2. If he doesn't have Sparky, does make it a bit awkward here. It might have to pass over 1. Do you see that another? We do see Kari and Security. And take the Zephyrmon. Could potentially just go Pyodramon and Raisin if he doesn't want to commit to the board, but might be dead set on that Jogress play. So I think he just whip the Davis off the top maybe. Gonna swing Security. Gonna hit the Ophanimon with the jamming, so it will survive. He might opt to hard play the Ragemon instead if a Stingmon play to put him at 3. Do you see the Health Scythe and the Magna in hand? It does just devolve the Pyodramon instead. 8k, so it will live the Health Scythe. And will live a potential Jet Sylphie as well, so it's very good play here. You don't always need to Jogress the Pyodramon. You can also just build it and Raisin if you need to. Depending if you're playing against a slow matchup. It still gets that restand, so not a good hand from Will here. He doesn't have the Schwartz, he only has Health Scythe. The only good thing is that the Pyodramon he can play the Magna now because the Pyodramon wouldn't be able to out it. So could just get bounced from fighter mode though. So he goes up for a Kari. He might just follow up with Zoe as well. He does. See if there's another hybrid security. As we see it, no target in there. So we do see a Hell Scythe. There is another Kari in there. Still offers those 2 checks though, so that Pyodramon is very threatening and we know Hell Scythe won't kill it, so doesn't seem to be much of an answer here. Do have the fighter mode in hand, but no Imperials, so it will cost 5. We'll hit into the Kari, so you can rest 1, reduce gain of memory here. Could just go level 4 and Raisin and play a Vmon after this. I don't think he needs to be afraid of leaving it rested at all. I don't think that matters here. It does have jamming, so 2 of finding security is not definitely not what you want to see. He does get put to 1, so he could just play a Vmon to pass turn, or he could Spark Saber level 4 and then play a Vmon. Or he could just go fighter mode if he doesn't think his opponent has a way to clear. And leave it suspended. Obviously, I imagine he's not familiar with this list, so he could be expecting Wyverns, but the only out for fighter mode in this deck is that Chaos Degrade or a Susano, but that will take too much time to get to, so there's no Wyverns here.
Dragon Ball Plays, 35 minutes left in the round. Dragon Ball Plays, 35 minutes left in the round.
We'll see the Vmon. Can add any free Digimon, so it can take the Stingmon if he wants it, but he already has one, so I'd imagine it opt just take the Imperial here because it's a missing. He's got everything else he needs besides that Imperial, so yeah, he does just take that. I think he can just take it slow. I don't think he's on any onus to swing. I think with the two Karis out, you want to just go for just kill him from one turn. You don't want to do any chip damage anymore. But this is looking very convincing so far. We do see the jet, but we know both our fannies are in security, so there's not going to be another recovery coming out from this jet stack. He's going to have to commit a lot of memory if he wants to recover again. He's going to swing security. Going to hit the XV. Oh, he does have the Schwartz, so he will clear the board there. It's very nice. Does give him 6 though, so that still opens up a potential Drogoz play. We know if Aaron does have another spark, he can go Imperial after. Doesn't appear he does, so he has plenty of draws to draw. When he's only playing 3 and he's used 1, so there's only 2 left in the deck. But you got the swing. We do know there's a Health Life, so if the Health Life does it kill this XV here, it could be a pretty good situation. Does put him back to square one. He also, if he does swing, the 2 carries will be rested, so he'll lose 2 and he'll go to 4. So it certainly does make things more awkward. He can end on the Imperial play. I think Health Life is very big here if this hits. It does hit, so it will kill the XV. There's no target to play, unfortunately, but just getting that off the board does now mean Stingmon still costs 4 to hard play. He does use the carry, so it does go down to 4. Aaron hasn't changed his memory gauge, so we'll see if he thinks he's playing with 6 still or not. But he is at 4. There you go. Definitely slows him down. With the 2 fannies, there's certainly a lot of recovery gone. He does have the Magnum in hand. He can just slam next turn if he wants, but see what the Imperial player does here. Not got any tamers, unfortunately, so he's going to have to commit to the board without these tamers, so that's definitely not ideal. Could potentially vape if he's got. I'm not sure what V money he's got. He does just play the Sting one for 4. Probably just pass the turn of the V-Mon, I think. I'm not sure how many he's got. He could opt to just evolve to the Chimera, perhaps, I think. Which he does. Probably puts the XV in the source, I'd imagine. He does have. We know he has the Imperial in hand, so if this doesn't get answered, he does have the Imperial play next turn. Although there is no memory tamer, so he could get put to 1 here instead. Those Karis, now that they're down, are going to be a very problem every turn. He's going to have to ideally do 3 damage in 1 burst instead. The jet does go down, so he does now have a Health Life target in that Zephyrmon. Not the best one, but there is a target. Looking like an awkward hand. Does play the Magna Op for 3. So there's a Spark here. This could get very dangerous. As would be able to go straight into the Imperial with a Spark. Didn't have one before, and he's only got 2 left in deck. Can draw a couple cards for it. Does not land, so he could just opt to go XV and an Imperial, spell the 2 bodies to pass. It would require a Schwartz come back to even stay in the game, I think, at that point, which he's only played 2 and he's used 1, so that would put a lot of pressure on. Could just go Imperial and pass, play the 2 bodies. He's only playing 3 of Fanny, so there's only 1 left, so the Magna is not likely to turn into anything else. And that would also set up for fighter mode. You'd need to answer most of the board next turn. So he does just opt to do that. He'll play out the Sting and XV and then requires opponent to have an answer here. This is when Imperial gets very scary because you need to clear the little ones, but you also need to clear the with Fight Mode being a card. You also need to clear the Imperial. So he was hoping that Magna died so he could use his health lives to play it back and get an additional recovery, but does live. Does have another Magna in hand he might just play, but it's looking very good for Aaron. He probably, depending on what the security is, he probably will have it next turn. Though with the two Karis, if Will can somehow put him to 1, we do see Zoe, so that'll leave him at 0. But if he can put him to 1, the two Karis will answer it. He just opts for a Hell Slice instead. Zephyr's the only target, so. And with Fighter, there's technically game on board depending on what's in security, but I'd imagine, I feel like you possibly just want to bounce the Magna to hand, because I don't think you'd want to bounce the Zephyr here, so if you Fighter mode, I'd imagine you just bounce the Magna instead. You know he's playing Hell Slice, so you don't want that Magna to be in trash. As nice as it looks suspended, we'll see if he decides to swing into it. If he goes Fighter mode and swings though, we'll pass turn with the two Karis, so does have to be afraid of that. And he has a Dino Bee, so he doesn't have a Imperialdramon, but so you could Jogos into Dino Bee, rest the Zephyr, and then swing over and bounce the Magna to hand. He does decide to just clear the Magna instead, and he's going to Jogos into Dino Bee and rest the Zephyr. He's just opting to clear the board here. If he draws another Dragon Mode, this would be very strong. That might be a board that's too hard to clear, but he doesn't have it right now. Could opt for the Fighter for 5 on the Dino Bee, but he could just opt to play the Davis as well, but that would open a Schwartz to clear most of this board. So there's definitely lines here. There's definitely different plays that you could do. Just looking at the Vmon. Doesn't seem to want to give his opponent 4. You could also Spark Davis is also a line. Just stop for the Vmon instead. Okay. I feel like with those two Karis, you might want to get a memory tamer set so you can play it around them. But it doesn't seem Will has a way to put them to 1 besides TK, so. She doesn't seem to have those. Do you see Yellow Man Boost in hand? Does just opt to Cloud Pin Magna. He's going to rely on his security to clutch it out for him. Still, if he draws the second Dragon Mode, it's going to be huge. He did just draw it. Very strong. If he's now he can play. He does not need to commit here. He can also just build a. He could build a huge board with the Imperial. Just set up bodies and clutch and go for game next turn instead. He could just go Imperial plus the Davis. Give him 3 next turn to play around the Karis. And build a board that's probably unanswerable. He's only got 3 tamers down, so Schwartz doesn't even clear that much. Can also just go fighter mode and kill the Magnantium on us, or bounce the Magna's hand. Could end your turn on that. Spending 7 damage next turn with Jogres plays for any that lives, but just gonna go piles. You want to put the Magnus at the bottom of the deck. If he swings, it does pass turnover, so he's going to opt to go for it. If there's another Kari, he's playing 4 BT4 Kari, so if there's another one on security, it will just pass turn the next time, if he attacks at any point after that check. Salomon 2k. Surprised you didn't swing the Imperialdramon first, because you do miss the draw if it got cleared by an option potentially. But I guess he was fearing the house life on the XP. Does check that Kari, so he cannot go for game here unless and I think he's already used 3 sparks, so he's gonna have to wait till next turn. But I don't think that's gonna be much of an issue. Can just mem boost. He does need to get to 3 guaranteed next turn to survive the Kari, so should just probably drop the Davis or the mem boost here. Both do the job. Do just see the mem boost to set up for guaranteed 3 memory next turn to close out the game. He does get another Dragon mode. Will's side, I don't think there's much we can do. That Magnangel not dying early definitely hurt. Having to play the Zephyr for Hellsight is never what you want, but this matchup's rough for that because this outside of the level 5s and above, it's not going to die, and they have a way that they can either bounce it back to hand or put it to the bottom of the deck. So this Hellsights do lose a lot of arrow against Imperial. Do swing into Devs and Kent, so he's guaranteed 3 memory, potentially 5 now. So I don't think that's just hard play. Give him sit. I don't think there's any combination of cards and security that saves him here. Schwartz would clear 3 bodies, but even then he has fighter mode in hand, so it's additional 2 swings. Dynaby will be swinging. Does die to the Susan. It's only 14k with Dynaby effect. I don't think there's much else to fear here. Just Hellsize does have a Magna, but it's still literally even if the grades and security is still not enough, there's still too many swings. Yeah, that is game 1 goes to Aaron. Okay. Will's hand was not too favourable there. The fact he couldn't get Magna in the trash meant those Hellsives, that security and from hand were just not that good a play. And Aaron just taking his time, clearing the board, setting up a wide board. That is an unanswerable. That's the thing with this non-rapid one version. You don't have easy access to board clears. He's got the Schwartz, but he's only playing 2 of them. So once you see one, you can safely assume it's not likely that he's playing that based on this. Well, you know he's playing 2, but Aaron doesn't. But once you see one, you know it's not like he's going to be another one coming up. So the Fanny's insecurity would also pretty painful, especially because obviously Imperial's just full of jammers. Doesn't matter what DP you've got, but if you got that level 6 on a Magna, would have guaranteed it went to trash instead of back to hand at the bottom of the deck. So I'd imagine Will would opt to go second here. We should see though. As for Aaron, I'd imagine he just wants to do the exact same thing. Just take his time, set up his tamers, set up his board. He knows he doesn't. I'd imagine I'd assume he knows he doesn't need to play around Rapidmon anymore because he hasn't seen it. So see if who's going first. That's a better hand. When you see reinforced turn one, that's always good to see. So both got good hands here. We've got XV and Sting. Unfortunately, the only VMons are the searchers. So you see that one of Lobomon could be clutched. Could be clutch with the amount of removal in this deck. Potentially just see TK and he's going to opt for Akari to slow down that aggression early. Does have a Hell Scythe in hand, so this does set for the Hell Scythe as well. So if a Magna gets checked at any point, it will be live. Might does just play for Vmon. Does just want to get filter in, so he does come out of racing. He's already got a Raijamon in hand, I believe, but does take the Vmon to try and search those Pyojamons and fire modes and Imperials. Does just opt for a Zoe. We do see a Hell Titan security there, so he just does need to get something in trash though for this to get us full value, which is fairly hard to do in this against this. The hard play Magna's likely not going to end up in trash at any point, so he's going to have to hope it's in security. Could you see a Davis the setup? Oof, not the best Davis, but probably just takes the search of Emon here. I don't know if he needs, depending on his hand, he could take the draw one. If he's playing the long game, he can set it up, but I imagine he just takes the searcher here. He does have a two-color searcher in hand, but this one just searches 3 Digimon, so it does take it. The two-color searcher as well are awkward in Imperial because it does not let you get access Stingmon, so does just play Zoe, no target again. He's holding that reinforce. He doesn't want to give his opponent too much memory. He drops the TK after. Does take the Salamon, which is definitely what he wants out of security because need that in Raisin could counteract some aggression potentially. It's likely Aaron's just going to try and set up for one eventual lethal from 4-5 security instead of chip damage, particularly when you see the Kari come down. But he could swing XV here, get a draw. He has the memory to evolve or hard play. He does have a spark, so even if the XV does die, he can go Ragemon and Stingmon still. Yeah, so we do see that Hell Scythe and the Reinforce, but still no targets for the Hell Scythe in trash. Shuffling the Tamers there. Let's just play Devs and Ken's, just taking it slow. Possibly just sets up a Ragemon and Raisin here. That is what we see, so just Ragemon and Raisin. Does play another Kari. As soon as he gets 4 online, it definitely does make it difficult, but with the Davis and Ken, with the Davis, he's often guaranteed 5 memory at the start of the turn, so opt for another Zoe. He knew there was no targets before, and he definitely didn't recover one off the TK, so there's still no targets. He does have a Kazumon in hand, but it seems he's waiting for a jet before committing to it. So you can decide to rate this Ragemon and go to 5 memory. Even with those cards, he's still at 3 memory, so you can still do Stingmon Joey West plays. Does swing into security. Does hit Hell Slice. It does kill the Ragemon. Armor Purge does not matter against minus DP. It does rest the carries. But we're just once again seeing there's just nothing in trash to play. Can continue to take his time. He's got Stingmon. I don't think he has a level 5 though, so he's playing the Search of Vemon instead. And that cannot add the Chimera, but it can add the Pyodramon. Once again, they're all clumped up together, so does put another one to the bottom. It's definitely painful. Do need multiple of those, I think, to clutch the game out. Does have Magnamon in hand, which gets very big. Cannot answer. It will go to 9k right now, so it can't be answered very easily. Could just swing for the Vemons, get some chip damage. Does hit into another Kari. Does just opt for a Magnamon to pass turn. Okay. Be 9,000. But does bring the Salamon up. Does have a block. We'll see if he blocks the Salamon or he's going to take the chance and let it live. I'd imagine he just takes the damage. He does. Stingmon. Opt for reinforce. See if we hit a Schwartz here. Look, he does hit a Schwartz and a Jet. Couldn't ask for a better hit. But he knows he has a Schwartz now, so he can play around it as best as he can. The Purge will live the Schwartz, so the Magamon is safe for the most part. It will come a Vemon after, so you might just swing and tank the Schwartz here and then build and play from there. Or he can try and go into Imperial and see if he just wants to draw. If he does swing, he does lose 3 memory though, so definitely stifles his play. Doesn't mean Schwartz is very awkward to get around though, specifically for this deck because your level 6 is outside of fighter mode do generate more bodies that will just play into it. Quite possible he goes into Imperial and just keeps the things in stack, or he goes into 2 Imperials here instead. HPD does come down, does go to Imperial. See if he plays anything here. Knows it's going to die if he swings anyway, but he does decide to play them. He's going for another Jogress. He did draw another Imperial, so he can do it again. He does have fire mode in hand, so he does have access to this. Potential a lot of memory on Will's turn. He does have the reinforce, so he can go to 6. Might just see the Imperial to pass. He could go fight mode on top of the Imperialdramon as well. He just goes for the Dragon mode instead.
Dragon Ball players, you have
He's only playing 3, so he's got 1 more Dragon mode, but he knows this Schwartz is going to be a problem. Will has so many tamers, it doesn't matter how wide he goes here. If he sets up, I'm not sure. I think he's gone through one might be 1 Ragemon, but the more he has, the more he can live the purge. So, the Schwartz, sorry. Does just play the Kari to pass. He does have a Jet though, so I suppose he didn't feel like he needs to recover right now. Oh, of course not. The Schwartz is the top card, so you don't want to recover anymore. I mean, still 4 damage potentially with these Dragon modes plus a fighter mode. Davis and Ken restand. He does have Magnamon, so that is also 5. So if there's nothing in security besides the Schwartz, and he has a Rager, that would be game. He does have a Lobo as well, so he could potentially end the game here. He does have a Spark, but hey, he might be one memory short with the Karis. Just decide to go and raise him. Opt to Jogress again. Could have just went Pyrodramon and Raisin and swung into the short, so he'd have that ready for next turn. But he does just opt for the fire mode hard evolve, which is very nice. Does keep the Stingmon and Harris. We will get 2 draws whenever he wants to swing with that fire mode. His board is definitely Schwartz proof right now. The Magna will live. The 3 level 6s will live. So it's just that if he swings with the Vmon, albeit it will cost him 3 memory with the Karis, but he can play a slow game. Should have game next turn potentially. Goes to 5, so even with the Karis, he does have that Lobo in hand for an extra attack. He's realised he needs to start recovering. Does pop the reinforce, go to 4. We probably will see the Fanimon come down to get another recovery, yep. Does have a Susan. Potentially could just slam it and kill that fighter mode. It would cost 7, but you know your security is good, so any memory you get, he's used a lot of his level 6s. Any memory you give him kind of has to go wide. Checks a Vmon. Just opts for a TK instead. He rests 1 Kari to leave him at 3. Very interesting. He can stack, because he shuffles his security, now Aaron doesn't know when the Schwartz is coming in. So it could be first, it could be last, so we'll have to see. Does make it interesting to see what order he swings in now. Does he have a 5? 7 swings potentially if he raises this XVmon. Plus a Lobo in hand, so 8. But we know there's a Schwartz in there. There's also could be other things. We've got Flame Hellscythe and Chaos Degrade, so see what Aaron decides to do here. Just checking his trash, see. But nothing good for Hellscythe besides that Salamon. Same for the Ifani. If the Ifani dies, he just gets the Salamon back, which we haven't seen Chaos Degrade yet. I'm not sure if it's in hand, so it might be in security. So if he does swing out and without, and it's not with that fighter mode, that could go. He's going to opt to just keep the ball clear. He does get to play out Zephyr from the stack. Does have another Davison Ken in hand. Can just take it slow and gain more memory. We'll see. See what it decides to do. See 2 Stingmons and Megadeth as well. Could just evolve that Vmon into a Elytramon and start swinging. Both the armors will survive the Schwartz, so Magnamon will also live the Hellscythe, so if he evolves the Elytramon and swings with that first, outside of the 2 Chaos Degrades, there's nothing, all the Susanna, there's nothing in security that really does anything to these Imperials, so he opts to evolve to Stingmon instead. Interesting. Just Spark to game 1 here. Just going to hard evolve into Dynabeamon and rest the Zephyr. Definitely playing a slow game. He's just drawn a second fighter mode, so if he clears the Zephyr, he can just evolve into that second fighter mode. Does have to draw off that Stingmon. It looks like his deck's looking pretty low, but he's a mandatory draw, so he can't get out of them. Believe that fighter mode could be restood, but I don't think it matters here too much. Just plays 2 more Kari, so not too helpful on his opponent's turn here, so this is going to be the biggest Schwartz you'll probably ever see. 10 Tamers down right now. But unfortunately, he's got 8 memory to start his turn with here. He has another fighter mode, so he's probably fearing specific options like Wyverns or but that he doesn't know if Will's playing or not. But he's only got the 2 degrade here. Not too much that is going to help him. Can afford to hard evolve into the fight for 5, and even with the 3 carries, it'll only leave him at 0, so he can get all these attacks off. He could swing with a Dynabee first if he wants to use Davis and Ken as well. Does just evolve for 5 into the fighter mode, so 7 attacks here. Also, we have 7 security on Will's side, but his board. See, do see that Schwartz first check still. The Magna does live with the Purge, so does get a 0, but he's got plenty more swings he can do. Can just swing that Vmon if he's fearing another one. Does die to the Salamon. Does swing, he does need to draw. Magna Angemon's finally in security. I believe there was a Health Scythe in there, so we'll be able to get that Magna back now. This is Zethamon. Another TK. He might be forced to take that Health Scythe out of security. Oh, he has to take the Tails degrade. The other one is Schwartz, so if he took the Schwartz, he would just lose a lot. He wouldn't be able to get the recover. And he does. That is very painful. Does hit Health Scythe, so he can get a Magna back. Cover 1.
Incredible players. That's the end of time.
I'm not even sure if he
Please
could
enter
go
into
into
the podcast
Susanamon. I think he's got so many Tamers on board. I don't think he'd have the 10 to shuffle back. Nor does he have it in hand, I believe. No, he does have it in hand. So we'll see how Aaron ends his turn. Does have that Lobo for next turn as well, so I think he should just be fine to close this one out. Could just Ice Water pass. Knows if anyone can come down next turn, so it's probably it's Mega Deft the Angemon. which is good. Stops your Fanny coming back down. Even with the 3 carries, it does cause that magnet to only to cost 4, but with the jet, still not enough to go to a Fanny more. I believe it's only at 3, so don't think there's anything Will can do here. Does just hit Dragon Mode. He probably did want that, so lets him potentially go into Susanamon now if he's got enough cards. He can pop on the fighter modes. That might have been the extra cards he needed. I think he's debating on evolving to another hybrid in hand. Gonna see that Kaze comes out. Does he have another jet, Sylphie? He doesn't. He's gonna swing security. Doesn't die. Probably wished it did die. He might have needed a crash there if he needed the extra for Susano. Does just opt for a Chaos Degrade to go to 7. We'll put that fighter mode to, I'll imagine, the bottom of security and then trash the blue memory boost. Yep. With the Lobo for game, don't think it still should just be fine though. Can just swing. Stinking. Guess he's scared of potential options of security, I'd imagine. Doesn't know everything he's Will's playing after all. Does swing the XP. Hits a degrade. Can put that fighter mode to the bottom. Or top. So taking his time. Does swing hit also. Can play mag. Does he have, I believe he does have a Magnanimon in trash. Oh, it does not. It got bounced back to hand with the Megadeth that he played from trash before. So he does not have a Magno in hand. So in trash, so that will be game with the Jogress. Will be 2-0 to Aaron once again. 3-0. I don't know if he went into that Chimeramon, but the Salah would have recovered, but he still had game on board with the Imperials, so leave it didn't make a difference.
Once again, Digimon, that is time on the road.
So that'll be the end of round 3. We'll be back shortly for round 4. Please keep watching.